A little while ago, I uploaded a video called This TikToker is in Danger. And in that video, I talked about an account called The Tall Knight, and the kind of content he'd upload would be wholesome content, mainly aimed towards males, the Sigma males of the internet. Basically, if you felt down in the dumps, you'd watch his content and it'd be celebrating the smaller things in life, like reading a book and, you know, the chapter not ending on a cliffhanger or doing your laundry. Stuff that's very, very small, but obviously, like, if you feel like complete shit, like down in the dumps, then it was very uplifting content. He was basically tapping into the audience of young men that didn't really have that much confidence, which is great because, like, you know, male mental health especially is not really something that's talked about. And apart from that, it was also very refreshing content because most of the content on TikTok, it's become this like weird Mr. Beastification where everyone's trying to one-up each other with these loud street interviews, or double the PS5, or give it to the next person. Like, oh my god, if I walk around with a PS5 in public and then I double it, I can get the PS10. Honestly, I've seen so much TikTok content where they interview people in public that if I go out in public and I see someone with a lapel microphone, I have an anxiety attack. Now, in that video, This TikToker is in Danger, I talked about the Tall Knight being made homeless basically instantly, having nowhere to stay, and him being down on his last legs. All he had with him was a single bag of his belongings. He couldn't even take his, you know, his iconic silver helmet with him. Now, for someone that made so much uplifting content, to see him like basically begging for some kind of help, like in tears, it sucked. It was horrible to see. Now, this story did have a happy ending because Tall Knight actually made a follow-up video that when he made that video, like crying, he linked his Cash App and he got sent around $15,000 in the space of an hour. Like, that was just from a TikTok account, which is amazing. Another cool thing as well is he was literally begging people to stop sending him money because he was getting so much, like he didn't know what to do with it. And then with the money, he was able to stay in a hotel for a little bit, get his bearings, get back on his feet, and that's where the story ended. But as soon as I uploaded that video, I have had dozens of people DMing me saying, you didn't include this, you didn't include the full story. And then some people even telling me that Tall Knight, he apparently staged the entire thing for attention. And then I sat back in my reclining Herman Miller chair I paid way too much money for, and I thought to myself, hang on a minute. You can't just lie on the internet. So I did a little bit of digging, and this video, which has been taken down originally, but obviously because it's the internet, re-uploaded absolutely everywhere, this comes from Tall Knight's Landlord. And he made a video proving that he knows Tall Knight by showing the same Knight helmet. And obviously, I mean, that's just, you know, the Swaggersouls helmet. Anyone could buy that Knight helmet. But he actually shows the room where Tall Knight would film his TikToks in. So it definitely is his landlord. And then what he did is basically give his side of the story and just accuse Tall Knight of just lying out of his ass.
I need help. I just got kicked out. So people are doubting if I'm Tall Knight's roommate. God, that thing's annoying. Yeah, I am. Come look. Story time. So this is Tall Knight, aka Elijah's room. In my house, his sword, Japanese wall scrolls, the computer, for proof. So I had let Elijah live with me since he turned 18, with me and my wife and my children. The understanding was that he was to be a normal house guest, operate under the understanding that this is my house. He lives here as a guest, does pay rent, not a lot, but he was to live here because we took him in. Now, the incident in question happened because he decided that it was in his prerogative to fly up a girl from out of state to stay in my house with my children and me and my wife without asking first. That was the first red flag that I was upset about. He had had issues in the past, and I did not want that to repeat. So later that night, my wife came to, you know, check on them. This is our house, to make sure our rules were being followed, and they were being very intimate, displaying very unchristian-like values in my house with my children. Granted, we were very upset. We had asked him, he had promised, he had assured this wasn't going to happen, and it did anyway. I told him that I was very upset, and that he had until March 1st to at least get things together, get things in order, and start finding a place. He was not homeless, he was not kicked out. He had to leave, and the girl could not return, but he paid until March, and was here until March. He then decided to make a video filming a suitcase on the ground here in our city. The suitcase is not even his. That he's homeless and has nothing. He did have money. He had enough to fly up a random girl to Maine. He had enough money for her ticket, but had nothing, and then is begging for thousands of dollars from people on TikTok. When he's staying with his friend, he's staying in a hotel, He told me and responded to the text message, I'm going to link the text message in here, that he was fine and that he's staying in a hotel and doesn't want to come home. He was never homeless. Not even for one moment was he homeless. And I'm sorry if you gave him money thinking that he was. And you know, I was just going to let it go until I see that he's actually scamming people out of money, lying about the fact that me and my wife kicked him out after he repeatedly broke the rules of our house and I'd given him weeks to find another place. No. I'm sorry. No.
So with this new information, it could be on the table that Tornite is a bit of a fibber, a bit of a liar, if you will. That doubled up with the fact that in the comments section of the video where he got kicked out, someone asked what happened, and then he said his sister. Why would his sister be involved if it was his landlord that kicked him out? So, there are many facts on the table, but don't worry, I, the internet Coles Phelps, will get straight to the source. So it's pretty obvious that Tornite was brought up, or, lived in at the time, a very strict Christian household. Now, you can argue religious values getting in the way of things, but to be fair, by the sounds of what the landlord was saying, Tornite did make a promise to the landlord and then went behind his back and broke it. Now, this call out on Tornite, this expose, it was shared around in smaller communities, but it basically did nothing to affect the guy's reputation. He was absolutely fine. But regardless of that, he obviously knew that it was being shared around because it was talking about him, and then he made a full-on TikTok to address it. A TikTok where he's shirtless and flexing for some reason.
Nowhere to go.
We had until March 1st to at least get things together, get things in order.
This needs to be addressed. I've avoided talking about this on my main account because you must empathize with me, alright? Keep an open mind. That's a lie. So I just really didn't want to have to use my main platform with an audience of millions just to talk about rumors and accusations. I didn't think it was worth any of our time, and that's not what I want my platform to be used for. It's getting insanely exhausting having to explain the whole stitch to each comment every time, because there's a lot of them. And trust me, I get it. It's so easy to believe that there's twists and turns to this story, that there's a big plot twist to it. There's just some kind of ending that you weren't expecting, because life is more entertaining that way. And justifiably so. It makes sense that you would believe that, because that type of thing happens all the time. It does. People scam people for money on TikTok all the time. This is the last time I'm going to acknowledge it, and the last time I'm going to say anything about it. All the proof you need, all the story about it, the full story, completely unbiased. I say lots of stuff that embarrasses me, that exposes me for some embarrassing things I did. The whole story is in my Discord. Just look it up, join it, and then it says concerning scam accusations. It's all there.
I get that it's his entire bit, like he's ripped, he's shredded, based. But, the fact you're addressing like serious allegations and you're just like there, like with... So the thing is, he doesn't really go into much detail. I thought this would be a deal breaker and kind of, break down everything, but it's more just kind of a shill for his Discord server. But you know what? I did something more brave than any man on the internet would do. I actually clicked the link and joined the Discord server. And surprisingly enough, it wasn't malware, it was an actual Discord server. So when you join this Discord server, you can actually see that he's made an entire channel or an entire thread just based around the accusations, so it doesn't get muddled with anything else. So he starts off by saying that he used his TikTok earnings to fly his girl up to see him, his girlfriend. She was going to stay for about a month, and at the time they were paying around $450 a month for a one-bedroom space that they were later kicked out of. I do want to say, by the way, if he's being honest, $450 a month for a bedroom space, a singular bedroom space that tiny, that is comedically expensive. Add to the fact as well that in the landlord's call-out post, he said that the Tornite doesn't even pay that much anyway. He just pays basic rent. Obviously, you can include electricity, water bills, all that kind of stuff. Maybe that was being paid for. But, for comparison, I know YouTubers that live in London and they've got two-story apartment and they pay basically double that amount. Now, I do want to say a little bit of a trigger warning on screen right now. This next part is when the story with the Tornite becomes absolutely unhinged. This is like watching every single Saw film back to back. There are betrayals, backstabs, something about dildos. And I would just say that this is all simple hearsay, but he has the receipts to pretty much everything. Now, remember that comment I made earlier about how it doesn't make sense that he said in the comments section of his TikTok that his sister kicked him out? Now it's going to make sense. Apparently, the sister knew all along that Tornite was going to have the girl over because they were, calling on Discord. The sister wanted Tornite to escort her kid to the house with their grandparents, apparently because Tornite's sister isn't allowed around minors without supervision. And this thing about minors apparently came from 2 years ago, an incident at a daycare, which she apparently resulted in a baby being put into a coma. And this sounds like a complete reach, right? Like complete BS. But he's linked an actual article. I couldn't access this article, but I turned on my VPN to set it to America. Then I could access the article. And it does seem to be legit. You know what? This is deep, man. I thought we were going to be talking about some like funny Swaggersouls thing for 10 minutes. So apparently Tall Knight brings his girlfriend over. His sister knew because of the Discord call. But then apparently she barged in saying she's outraged that he betrayed her trust by having the girl over. And then apparently starts asking the girlfriend really bizarre questions like, where are you from? And of course, who did you vote for? Personally, I'd like to imagine the girlfriend just said she voted for Kanye West and she applauded and left the room. So apparently this sister that Tall Knight has, obviously we haven't seen her side of the story, but Tall Knight is painting her to be a bit of a loose cannon. Apparently from Tall Knight's own words, she blocked their eldest brother for voting for Joe Biden. And then blocked their youngest sister for being gay. Truly an American moment. Only in that country could you hate and block someone for their beliefs or their values, when in reality you could just be like everyone in the UK and just hate them in private. Now, apparently, the final straw came from Tall Knight actually having sex with his girlfriend, something most para viewers will never experience. And that was the reason why he got thrown out. But apparently, in his defense, his sister would be having loud sex all the time, even leaving their sex toys around the kitchen sink, which apparently makes the whole criticizing Tall Knight and his girlfriend having sex completely redundant. So I like to imagine in my head that Tall Knight would, like, you know, walk into the kitchen and then just see some like 30-inch bad dragon dildo. And then he goes on to probably overshare a little bit here and then said, his sister isn't the one who takes it in the ass. I feel like this has gone from like petty TikTok drama to a Jerry Springer episode. Also, I like the fact that I've said the word dildo so many times and this isn't a critical video. So apparently when Tall Knight was having sex with his girlfriend, the sister walked in, was like shouting at them, saying like, you betrayed my trust. And then apparently Tall Knight, you know, he kind of realized, oh shit, I'm actually going to be made homeless. He started like begging and groveling. And then she didn't care, apparently saying, frankly, I want you homeless. And that night, while he was, you know, making the TikTok and crying, and thankfully the money was raised, that night he actually slept in his friend's basement with his girlfriend. So this is where the landlord comes in. When he made that TikTok, apparently he reached out to Tall Knight when he got kicked out, saying, you've got until March the 1st to kind of, you know, sort out your affairs, get your belongings, and then leave. But he said, like, if you ever show up at the house again to collect your belongings, your girlfriend can't be there. Now, Tall Knight could have gone back, but obviously everything being said with the landlord and the rent and the space and the crazy sister, most people probably wouldn't take that. He also posted proof of that conversation here in the thread as well. Also, to all the people that thought he was doing this for attention and his bank account was well in the green before the 15K, he actually posted his bank statement and he's only got around $500. And then as well, he showed video proof of all the donos, you know, people sending the money in. So basically, by the looks of it, what people are theorizing is he got kicked out for having premarital sex, which is just... okay. Now, even though I am Camp Tall Knight 100%, he's been through some really nasty shit. You know, just to hear all sides out, his sister did actually come out with her own TikTok, basically saying that he's full of shit and he's lying. I would let this TikTok play out in full. The problem is she provides absolutely no proof, no receipts. She's basically just saying everything he said is BS and he's very immature, he's childish, but he's also an adult and can make his own decisions. It's very weird. But yeah, I just wanted to give an update on the Tall Knight situation because a lot has happened. That is wild. And I saw that he actually watched my videos and he was sharing them and stuff. I thought it was cool. But yeah, wish you the best, man. I'm just happy I'm not American.